Something unprecedented is unfolding before our eyes, something that has been kept in the shadows for over a century. The silence that has protected certain truths is beginning to crack. In recent weeks, two powerful voices from the depths of the church have spoken with a clarity that cuts through the spiritual fog of our time. Archbishop Viganò has declared that what we know of the third secret Fatima is incomplete, deliberately hidden from the faithful. Meanwhile, Father Petter, the priest chosen to reveal the secrets of Medjugorje, whispers that the hour of the great disclosure is approaching like the dawn rising over a sleeping world. These are not ordinary times. The Mother of God did not appear at Fatima to deliver pleasant messages or comforting reassurances. She came with urgent warnings, 3 secrets that would unfold across centuries like a divine map of human destiny. Tonight, we pierce the veil of silence that has shrouded the most disturbing of these revelations. Stay with us, because as our story unfolds, we will uncover why Archbishop Viganò believes the true third secret is not about external enemies, but about a betrayal happening right now inside the Vatican. As a small thank you for joining us today, we offer a moment of shared blessing. Comment with the word faith if you are open to receiving a special final thought dedicated to everyone participating. And please press like if you appreciate these moments. The first secret ripped the earth open beneath the feet of 3 shepherd children. Hell revealed itself not as a metaphor or a theological concept, but as a burning reality. Lucia, Francisco, and Jacinta witnessed an ocean of fire where souls burned in eternal separation from God. This vision was not cruelty. It was mercy, showing the stark consequence of rejecting divine love. In our era, where hell has been erased from homilies and forgotten in catechesis, this truth burns more relevant than ever. The modern church speaks of everything except eternal judgment, yet the Mother of God made it the very foundation of her message. The second secret pierced time itself. Wars would multiply, Russia would spread her errors throughout the earth, and persecution would strike the faithful. A strange light appearing in the sky became the herald of unprecedented suffering. But while these prophecies have partially unfolded, something remains unfinished. The consecration requested by heaven was performed, but doubts linger. Did it satisfy the precise conditions given by the Virgin? Or is the true fulfillment of the third secret still waiting to strike? The errors of Russia have indeed spread, just as the Blessed Mother warned, but they have done so in a way far more insidious than mere political ideology. While the world watched for armies, a spiritual poison was infecting the very heart of Christianity. But it is the third secret that continues to haunt the marble corridors of the Vatican to this day. When the Vatican officially released a vision in the year 2000, depicting a bishop in white climbing a mountain to martyrdom, it felt to many like a story with missing chapters. It seemed to describe an external persecution, an attack from the outside. Yet, those who have studied the complete message sense that something far more devastating was held back. Archbishop Viganò has repeatedly asserted that the full truth does not concern enemies storming the gates, but rather a betrayal from within. The true third secret, he claims, speaks of apostasy. It reveals a terrifying era where pastors would lead their flock away from Christ rather than toward him. It prophesies a doctrinal confusion so profound that truth will be labeled as hate and error will be embraced as compassion. As St. Paul warned the early church about the end times, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for unless there come revolt first, and the man is to be revealed, the son of perdition," 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 3. This is not a prediction of bombs or bullets, but of something far more destructive, the collapse of faith from inside the very institution Christ established to guard it. This aligns with the heavy burden carried by Father Petter, the priest chosen to eventually announce the secrets of Medjugorje. Witnesses say that when he speaks of the approaching revelations, his words come slowly, as if every syllable carries the weight of divine judgment. He speaks of a coming purification that will separate the wheat from the chaff, not through a war between nations, but through an interior fire that will test every single soul. The faithful remnant will emerge purified, but the cost will be beyond what most of us can imagine. We are being told that the smoke of Satan has entered the temple, but few dare to identify just how deep it has penetrated. If this is the spiritual reality, what are the visible signs? As we look around us, we see the storm clouds gathering on the horizon, but the evidence of this internal collapse is no longer hidden in secret documents. It is happening in plain sight, on our altars and in our pulpits. In the next chapter, we will expose the specific signs that prove this prophecy is being fulfilled right now, before our very eyes. The signs of this internal collapse are multiplying around us like storm clouds gathering on the horizon, visible to anyone with eyes to see. We are living in a moment where cardinals openly contradict the gospel, and bishops promote ideologies that would have horrified the saints of centuries past. We watch as ancient, sacred liturgies are abandoned or stripped of their mystery, while modern innovations take their place. The sanctuary, once a place of trembling awe, has too often become a stage for human performance rather than divine worship. These are not merely pastoral adjustments or administrative accidents. They are the precise fulfillment of what the third secret actually contains. Archbishop Viganò has become a solitary voice crying out in the wilderness, warning us that the great deception foretold in Scripture is not a distant future event. It is our present reality. He identifies the current ecclesiastical crisis as the very apostasy the Mother of God revealed to the shepherd children of Fatima. As Pope Paul VI once famously admitted, the smoke of Satan has entered the temple of God, but few today dare to identify just how deeply it has penetrated the sanctuary. The timeline of Revelation is approaching its climax. Those who are spiritually awake recognize that we are standing on the threshold of an unprecedented upheaval. As St. Paul prophesied to Timothy, "For there shall be a time when they will not endure sound doctrine, but, according to their own desires, they will heap to themselves teachers, having itching ears." 2 Timothy 4 verse 3. We are living in that time. The church is shaking to its foundations, not because of external enemies, but under the crushing weight of its own infidelity. The year ahead holds a terrifying promise, the promise of clarity. But it also brings the threat of a deeper confusion for those who are not prepared to face the truth. While the institutional machinery continues to churn, a different kind of reality is beginning to manifest for the faithful remnant. Father Petter, the priest entrusted with the secrets, speaks of a thinning veil between worlds. He tells of dreams visiting the faithful, visions of light breaking through the darkness, and warnings echoing in prayer before the dawn. The supernatural realm is closing in on our natural world as the time of choosing draws near. But as the darkness deepens, the faithful are being given supernatural aids. In the next chapter, we will explore the specific visions and dreams that are beginning to haunt the sleep of the faithful, signaling that the time for decision is no longer months away. It is here. Every soul will soon be forced to decide where they stand when the final cards are revealed. This is the essence of the warning. The Mother of God did not entrust these secrets to the visionaries to create panic. She gave and prepared her children for a battle that has always been inevitable. As the Apostle Paul wrote to the Corinthians, "For what participation hath justice with injustice? Or what fellowship hath light with darkness?" 2 Corinthians 6 verse 14. The forces of light and the forces of darkness cannot coexist indefinitely. The compromise that has weakened the church for decades, trying to please the world while claiming to serve God, must give way to the clarity that only comes through purification. If you believe that God is preparing his people for this moment, and you are ready to stand with the truth, simply type "men" in the comments below to declare your faith. This is why the full third secret remains partially hidden in the shadows. Its full revelation would expose not merely individual failures, which we are all prone to, but a systemic betrayal at the very highest levels of the hierarchy. It would demand a reckoning that many are simply not ready to face. Yet, truth has a way of surfacing, no matter how deep men try to bury it. The faithful who remain must now become lighthouses in the approaching darkness. Prayer is no longer just a devotional habit. It is spiritual warfare. The rosary transforms from a routine recitation into a powerful weapon against the forces of confusion. Those who carry the burden of these celestial secrets can no longer contain what burns in their hearts. Father Petter, the chosen vessel for the announcement of the sacred mysteries, speaks with a trembling voice about the approaching revelations that will shake the foundations of faith itself. His words carry the gravity of one who has seen beyond the veil of time. In quiet moments of prayer, this humble priest whispers of visions that disturb his sleep. He speaks of a church that will face its greatest test, not from armies or persecutions, but from the cancer betrayal growing within its own body. The enemy is no longer attacking from outside the walls. He is sitting at the very table where sacred decisions are made. This is the heart of what was hidden in that third secret, the revelation too dangerous to speak aloud for decades. But as the signs manifest with startling clarity, we must ask, what exactly did the Pope see in those hidden documents that made them weep in the privacy of their chambers? This is a terrible secret that caused pontiffs to weep in the privacy of their chambers when they finally read the hidden text. It was not the vision of external martyrdom or a nuclear war that broke their hearts. It was a prophecy of an internal collapse. They saw a future where the church would wound herself more deeply than any persecutor ever could. They saw a time when the salt would lose its flavor and the light would be hidden under the bushel of human wisdom. As our Lord warned in the Gospel of Matthew, "You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt lose its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is good for nothing any more but to be cast out and to be trodden on by men." Matthew 5, verse 13. Archbishop Viganò stands today as a sentinel on the walls, his voice echoing across a landscape of ecclesiastical confusion. He sees what others refuse to acknowledge, that the great apostasy is not a distant nightmare, but a present reality. We are watching shepherds scatter the flock while claiming to gather it. We are living in a moment where truth is becoming the enemy of unity, and those who defend the ancient faith are branded as divisive extremists. Father Petter bears his burden with an increasing sense of urgency. Those close to him report that his prayers have lengthened and his fasts have become more frequent, as if he is spiritually armoring himself for a battle of unprecedented intensity. He speaks of dreams where the Mother of God weeps, not for the sins of the secular world, but for the infidelity of her own children who are the vestments of authority. Her tears fall like blood upon altars where the holy sacrifice has been forgotten and communion has been reduced to a mere social ritual. The timeline of Revelation is accelerating toward its climax. Those who study the movements of heaven recognize that we are approaching a moment of divine intervention that will shock the world. It will be a moment that separates the light from the darkness within the very heart of the church. The lukewarm will be spewed out, leaving only those who burn with the authentic fire of faith. This purification will not be a slow, gradual process. The signs indicate it will be rapid and decisive, like a flash of lightning illuminating the entire sky in an instant. But as the institutional structures shake, a hidden army is quietly gathering strength. In the next chapter, we will reveal who these hidden saints are and the specific role they will play when the great disclosure finally arrive. The faithful remnant is gathering in silence, in humble chapels and living rooms, sensing that their time of hiding is drawing to a close. They are being prepared to stand as witnesses when the great revelation arrives. Their prayers rise like incense before the throne of God, interceding for a church that seems to have forgotten how to intercede for herself. These hidden saints, perhaps you are one of them, have become the spiritual anchor preventing a total shipwreck. Archbishop Viganò warns that the deception has reached the highest places of ecclesiastical power. We are witnessing a revolutionary transformation where documents are altered, traditions are abandoned, and the very meanings of words like mercy and love are twisted. What was once clearly identified as sin is now celebrated as virtue, and what was once honored as virtue is dismissed as outdated judgment. To join our community and never miss an inspiring story, consider clicking like and subscribing to the channel. The Mother of God foresaw this exact moment when she appeared to the 3 shepherd children over a century ago. She saw the future apostasy with perfect clarity, and she gave her children the specific weapons they would need: the rosary, the consecration to her Immaculate Heart, and the courage to speak the truth when the rest of the world remained silent. These simple practices are not just rituals. They are powerful fortresses in the battle for souls. Father Petter speaks of the approaching year as a threshold moment where hidden things will be dragged into the light. The comfortable ambiguity that has allowed error to flourish will be swept away by the harsh, unavoidable clarity of divine truth. The third secret reveals that the greatest threat to Christianity does not come from atheist governments or hostile cultures, but from those who claim to serve Christ while leading his people away from him. As our Lord warned us in the Gospel of Matthew, beware of false prophets who come to you in the clothing of sheep, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Matthew 7, verse 15. Only those who know the true voice of the Good Shepherd can distinguish between authentic authority and its counterfeit. This darkness serves a divine purpose. It is separating the wheat from the chaff with surgical precision. Those who remain steadfast in this hour of trial will witness the triumph promised at Fatima. The Immaculate Heart will prevail, but only after the false church has been stripped away to reveal the true church underneath. The purification is approaching like a cleansing fire. The question that haunts every believing heart in this moment of crisis cannot be avoided. When the final test arrives, will you be ready? The question that haunts every believing heart in this moment of crisis cannot be avoided. When the final test arrives, when you must choose between comfortable lie and the difficult truth, whose voice will you follow? The time of comfortable silence has ended. We must understand that the Mother of God did not appear at Fatima merely to offer pleasant reassurances. She came to equip her children for the single greatest spiritual battle in the history of the Church. What Archbishop Viganò reveals and what Father Petter carries in the silence of his heart converge on one inescapable reality. We are standing on the threshold of the complete fulfillment of the third secret. The hidden pages that made popes tremble do not contain predictions of nuclear winter, but the map of an internal spiritual collapse. We are witnessing the apostasy unfold before our eyes, as sacred doctrine is bent to accommodate the spirit of the age. But we must not despair, for this is a foretold purification. This is a fire that burns away the dross to reveal the gold. The church is not dying, it is being purified. The church of the remnant will emerge from this trial stripped of worldly power, but radiant with divine truth. But the cost will be high. It requires us to understand that prayer is now our form of warfare. The rosary is no longer just a set of beads, but our spiritual armor. The consecration to the Immaculate Heart is the only refuge for those who refuse to compromise with the darkness. The signs are multiplying, the warnings are loud, and heaven is preparing to intervene. In the end, the Immaculate Heart will triumph. That is a promise written in the stars. But before the triumph comes a choice. That hour is approaching like the dawn rising over a world that has forgotten how to distinguish light from shadow. As the prophet Joshua declared to the Israelites, "Choose this day whom you will serve, but as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." Joshua 24, verse 15. Where will you stand when the history of this moment is written? As we conclude on this message of ultimate choice and final victory, we invite you to declare your allegiance. Comment "Jesus is King" below to affirm this truth with us. And your journey doesn't have to stop here. Click on the video appearing on your screen now for another powerful message we prepared for you.